Thanks, Rita. The headlines in the southeast today. A man who caused a head-on collision by driving on the wrong side of the A21 is jailed for more than 2 years. Opening up how a group of men are challenging social expectations to improve mental health.
My generation have been sort of brought up with that sort of mentality of, well, be a man about it, man up.
And it's been a cool, cloudy start to the day, but is it going to stay dry? I'll have the details later in the programme.
Hello, welcome to the programme. I'm Ellie Crisell. Dramatic footage showing the aftermath of a collision on the A21 caused by a driver travelling on the wrong side of the road has been released by Sussex Police. Jean Diaz admitted causing serious injury by dangerous driving after his Land Rover collided with a Ford Fiesta near Robertsbridge in January last year. He's been jailed for more than 2.5 years. A 54-year-old man from Hastings suffered life-changing injuries. And we'll be able to bring you more on that story tonight at 6:30. The MP for Hastings is calling for urgent intervention in 2 schools which she says are being denied vital funding by the trust that manages them. Sally Ann Hart claims that the University of Brighton Academy's trust takes millions of pounds from 2 of their schools, more than 15% of each budget. The trust says funds ensure maximum resources are allocated and prioritised for teaching, learning and school improvement. They've been approached for further comment.
You will find most multi-academy trusts will take anywhere between 5 and 8% of the funding for centralising services. And so the fact that we've got 2 schools in the 13th most disadvantaged, most deprived local authority area in England, this is really unusual.
A man from East Sussex has been sentenced to nearly 3 years in prison for possession of illegal weapons. Police arrested Dennis Early after discovering a converted pistol, 7 blank-firing firearms and 6 bullets in his home. The National Crime Agency tracked Early after he bought guns illegally online. He pled guilty to all charges. Thanet Council has abandoned plans to introduce a tourist tax because it doesn't have the power to do so. The idea of levying a modest tax on overnight stays was to address the impact of visitors on local communities, like the use of facilities like public toilets and beaches, and an increase in litter and traffic. The council says it's considering a number of different ideas instead. Southern Water says it plans to invest nearly £11 million renovating Margate pumping station. It intends to replace equipment and machinery in a bid to improve the reliability of the water supply and benefit the environment. The company was fined a record £90 million in 2021 for deliberately dumping billions of litres of raw sewage into the sea. New red routes are set to be enforced on roads in Medway in a bid to tackle congestion. Double red lines along the curb on busy streets in Chatham, Rainham and Rochester would ban drivers from stopping, parking or loading. A group of men in Hastings have set out to challenge social expectations of men being tough by creating a film. It's called Men Don't Talk, and it aims to reflect how dangerous it can be for men to bottle up their emotions. As Claudia Sabasis reports, it's part of a wider project to create a so-called men's movement in the area.
It's men talking about their feelings, men talking frankly, openly, honestly.
The issue is that men have that persona, that machismo that doesn't allow them to show weakness, doesn't allow them to show anything that is against the norm of what they think people would think of them as a man.
Travis Mains Martin was the interviewer in the video. It resonates with him because of the challenges he's faced in his life.
Depression, suicidal thoughts, attempted suicide a couple of times, used to self-harm, and it all stemmed from an inability for me to be able to talk about what was going on with me.
Travis says when he was growing up, the message was men are tough and they don't cry.
People of my generation have been sort of brought up with that sort of mentality of, you know, well, be a man about it.
The video was produced by a project called Mr. Hastings and St Leonard's, and it's about encouraging men to live in strong, supportive and well-connected communities. For several years now, the suicide rate in East Sussex has been higher than the England average, with men aged 30 to 59 being most at risk. And male suicide rates far, far exceed female rates.
It's really easy in a place like Hastings to be very isolated, to be very lonely. There's a lot going on, there's a lot you can be part of, but when you go home you can not really have that many connections with other people. It has an impact obviously for them, but it has a massive knock-on for the town. It has a massive knock-on for, you know, their employability, for the economy of the town.
If you start to share just a little bit, bare yourself a little bit, it makes them feel more comfortable and more receptive to the thought of them being able to open up themselves, because what you said to that person in that instant is that it's okay to not be okay.
And that's the message. It's okay to not be okay. Claudia Sebezis, BBC South East Today, Hastings.
And if you've been affected by anything in that report, you can go to the BBC Action Line website. Football, and there was no Premier League fairy tale win for Brighton and Hove Albion, who were at home to Manchester City last night, and the Seagulls lost 4-0. They stay 11th in the table with 5 games remaining. In League Two, Crawley Town manager Scott Lindsay says he's optimistic his team can reach the playoffs as they prepare to play Grimsby on the final day of their campaign. They're currently in 8th position and need a win to stand any chance of promotion.
It's a positive day. We're going to treat it as a positive day. It's a day that we can get in the playoffs. It's a day that the fans can, you know, enjoy. Hopefully at the end of it, you know, at the end of it we can really celebrate the fact that we're in that playoff position. So, you know, let's really look forward to it. Let's come out in our numbers and really cheer the boys on.
And we'll have more on that later. Also in action this weekend, Gillingham play Doncaster at home, while in the Women's Super League, Brighton and Hove Albion are away to Tottenham. And Lewis play their final game in the Women's Championship after being relegated. Time now for a look at the weather. Rachel is with me. I'm persisting in wearing my spring dresses, even though it's freezing.
It is freezing. It's going to be milder by next week, but it'll be wetter too, so that's nice. Yes, milder and wetter eventually. Today has been cloudy and cool and largely dry. We've got 1 or 2 scattered showers through this afternoon, and that's thanks to an area of low pressure that's just to the south of us. Those are the showers that we were seeing earlier today. They're tracking their way eastwards, 1 or 2 lingering along the coast there through this afternoon, and a good deal of cloud cover really for us all. And again, just look at these temperatures, cool for the time of year. Along the coast, not getting much above 8 or 9 degrees, still in single figures, and even inland highs there of around 10 or 11 degrees. Now into tonight, initially dry, and then another band of rain, heavy at times, is going to be pushing up from the south. Bit of a soggy night. Overnight temperatures not as chilly as last night as a result. Overnight lows there of around 6 or 7 degrees. So breezy, and if you're up early initially, perhaps a little bit wet, but that rain clears its way northwards, and behind it for Saturday there'll be some sunshine. As you can see, still 1 or 2 scattered showers around, could be quite heavy where you see them, particularly along the coast there, but temperatures starting to creep upwards. We've got highs there starting to look like the seasonal average of around 13 or 14 degrees. Now it is much milder still as we go over into Sunday, but it goes hand in hand with some heavier rain that clears out of the way, and we start to see some milder and brighter weather for Monday. So over the next couple of days, those temperatures on the rise. I'm afraid it goes hand in hand with some rain, but for Monday, some sunshine to enjoy.
It's May next week.
I know, can you believe it?
Look at that, 18 degrees. Hanging on for that. Thank you, Rachel. In South East Today at 6:30. They are the dance duo who became household names on the Strictly stage. I'll be talking to Kai Widrington and Nadia Bushkova about the glitz, the glamour, the sequins, as well as their tour in the South East. Look forward to that. I'm back at 6:30 from Rachel and me. Bye-bye for now.